Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to be discussing cultivating a Catholic home and just how to incorporate your faith into your home life. This is the final chapter of our book club series that we've been doing all summer, started by Heather from A Catholic Mom's Life. We've been reading the book, The Handbook for Catholic Moms by Lisa Hendy, and as always, everybody's links are down below in the description box. In reflecting upon this topic and this chapter, I've come to realize that there are basically two main facets of cultivating Catholicism in your home, and those are both physical ways and non-physical ways. For physical ways, that would be things like tangible items that you place inside of your home, pictures, home decor, stuff like that. For the non-physical, it would be things like prayer and developing the spiritual lives of your children and husband and yourself. To give you an idea of some of the physical items I have in my home, we have these Catholic books out and about that are really easy to pick up and grab for anybody who's over, along with a Pope blessing we received as a wedding gift. We have this ichthus Jesus fish image in our kitchen, along with this life-size cutout of Mary that we have, and for fun we always put different things and messages in her hand. That's my book that I wrote that we have with her right now. This is a prominent picture we have in our home. It is one of our engagement photos. We love this cathedral. It's where we had our first date, my husband and I, and it's a just great reminder of our marriage and our life together that we began, along with just little touches of our faith, scripture verses, images of Jesus around the house. And then I attached a command hook to the side of my bed so I was able to hang my rosaries right by my bedside with ease. Having quotes from saints around can also be inspiring. This is one I have from Mother Teresa. Also love my son's shining light dolls. It's just fun to look at all the different toys laying around, and then you come across these saints in the midst of all the mess and clutter. It's just nice to have those reminders of faith laying around. First, let's talk physical. For me, the number one thing that I realize when I go into a home and can tell very quickly that a family is Catholic would be seeing visible religious items and images around the home. So for a lot of Catholics, this means a crucifix in entryways and doorways. My goal eventually is to have a crucifix in every single room. I think it's awesome that a lot of Catholic schools incorporate the crucifix into each and every room, and it's just a nice way to always have that reminder of the Lord's sacrifice to us, His love and His presence. Quick story, because it's so adorable. This one time I was in high school and I was helping teach Vacation Bible School to a bunch of little kids, and I was leading a group of kindergartners, and we had this little lecture about Jesus and His sacrifice for us on the cross. All the little kids were around in a circle on the floor, and then the person speaking was in a chair, and she said, and up there, and pointed up to the crucifix that was hanging above the doorway in the school. She said, up there, every time you look at that, just remember that Jesus died for you on the cross and He loves you. Then that was it, and this little girl came up to me right after in my group, and she said that she had a question for me, and I said, okay, yeah, what is it? And she said, that up there, that's Jesus? And I said, yeah, it is. And she goes, he's so little. And I'll just never forget her sweet little self just thinking, like, she was shocked that he was so little, and it was the cutest thing. So I always think of that when I think of the crucifix. So it's important to have the crucifix displayed at least somewhere in your home, but even better if you can incorporate it into every single room or several rooms. Another physical item that we have is a small holy water font. We have it right in the doorway when you walk into our house. It's just a nice reminder of our baptismal promise and kind of cool to have in your home. Back in college, I visited some friends at the University of Steubenville. I think it's Franciscan University of Steubenville, and I noticed that several of the students had holy water fonts when you walked into their dorm room, and I thought that was the coolest thing, and so I put one on my wedding registry, and I was so excited when we got it. Kind of a mix between the physical things and the spiritual things that we can do is to remove clutter from our lives and from our homes. And my family likes to keep out anything that is distracting or inappropriate, of course, and anything that's unhealthy for us. So for instance, if there are foods that we are gifted or somebody drops off and my husband and I both think these are not good for the kids, we would never eat them, we would never let our kids eat them, but somebody dropped them off and they're here, we usually just discard them if usually it's a junk food, not anything nutritious. So we discard that, get it out of our house right away, instead of feeling like, oh, we have to keep this just because it was given to us. And with a lot of excess things, excess toys, it may sound really nice that we've been gifted a lot of items for the kids' birthdays and Christmas and other random times, and it's a great blessing, but if you hold on to everything, your home will become super cluttery. And that's where I love the concept of minimalism, and I try to apply it to my life as best as I can, and so does my husband, because we realize with less stuff, we're less stressed out, less overwhelmed, and less likely to fall into sin. And by that I mean, let's say there's just stuff everywhere, the house is a big mess. Usually everybody's more grumpy. I'm in a terrible mood. I'm stressed out. We get mad at each other. We can't find anything, and it just causes tension that does not need to be part of our home. And it disturbs that peace. So no physical thing and amount of physical things is worth the cost of that tension and stress for us. So that's why we do our best to try to only keep things in our home that we love, that we use, and that we have a place for. And of course, prayer is essential. A family that prays together stays together, I once heard, and I believe it's very true. We always pray before our meals, but sometimes we find it hard to sit down together and just pray for the sake of praying as an entire family. And it's really hard to make that time, but that is something to incorporate, or especially when a difficulty comes across your family, just being able to feel comfortable praying about it together when something comes up. But it's important too to make sure that you're praising God when things are going well and you're happy and joyful, and not just focus on only going to the Lord when you're sad and miserable and you need help. Not that you should ever feel like you can't turn to Him, but also going to Him with gratitude and in times of thanksgiving. So really making sure that you have a great prayer life with your spouse and with your children. Those are my tips for cultivating a life of faith in your home. What other additional tips do you have? Make sure you leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching.